So thank you for joining us today. My name is David Cheney Jr. I am the host of Noire Life Presents, the creative director and founder of Noire Life Media. And today I have the great pleasure of having Miss Gwen Ragsdale, the founder and curator of Lest We Forget Slavery Museum right here in Philadelphia, on with me today. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the museum is about, where it's located, and just the purpose behind it, and who she is also, because I think a lot of times we get so caught up in what a person does that we forget about who they are as well. So I'm going to let Ms. Ragsdale take it away. Give us a quick introduction
Sure,
of
David.
where you're from and how
My
you got
name again is
started.
Gwen Ragsdale, and I'm the curator and executive director of the Lest We Forget Slavery Museum. We're located 5501 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are the only slavery museum in Philadelphia and the only museum with actual slavery artifacts. We have an extensive collection of slave shackles, chains, manacles, and other forms of ironware that were used on enslaved Africans. These items are proof positive of how different enslaved Africans were brought to America. Unlike other immigrants, I should say, who willingly came to America, we were forcibly bought here and held in bondage for hundreds of years. Yes, we came on boats, but they were not called the Mayflower. To be able to see these things, and let me see if I can turn my camera around.
Your camera isn't on. Let me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be able to show you some of our artifacts. Why am I not able to turn it around? Just asked you to start your video. Okay, all right. Oh, here we
All
go.
right, there we go.
All right, here we go. All right. Now, are you able to, you're still seeing me? Switch. I don't know why I can't switch. In any event, to be able to see the artifacts that we have in our museum is really an amazing opportunity. Many people talk about slavery, but actually seeing items that were used on enslaved Africans. There we go. There we
There
go.
we go.
These are actual shackles and branding irons that were used during the transatlantic slave trade. This is the first shackle that inspired my husband, who is the founder of this museum. His name is J. Justin Ragsdale. He found this shackle in his uncle's trunk. His uncle lived in South Carolina, and my husband would visit him every summer, which he enjoyed because he was one of those kids that liked hanging around old folks.
Okay.
His
Yeah,
uncle
I can
lived,
relate.
yeah, his uncle lived to be 109 years old. And though he never said he was a slave, he told my husband a story about when he was a young man. He said Massa took him off to the war when he was just a boy. That story kind of stuck with him. And later on, we realized that he was talking about the Civil War. And the fact that he lived to be 109, the fact that we have that oral history, because in many cases, that's all African Americans have is oral history.
Oral
That's why it's
history.
so
That's right.
important for us to talk to our elders and find out as much as we can while they're still alive, because it's not doing us any good laying out in the cemetery.
That's right.
So these are actual items, like I said, that were used on enslaved Africans. We tell the story of slavery from capture to emancipation and beyond. This is a rare map of West Africa that was created by European geographers so that the colonizers in North America could determine what part of West Africa they wanted to get their enslaved Africans.
Wow.
Enslaved Africans were chosen for their natural talents and abilities. In other words, they wanted you to hit the ground running. They really wanted you to have have experience, if possible. Here's some more artifacts on this side. These are actual Middle Passage shackles that were used on mostly enslaved males. All right. The women were not always shackled. Sometimes they were loosely shackled, but for the most part, sometimes they weren't shackled at all because the crewmen wanted to have access to them.
Mm. You know,
And go
you
ahead.
guys started in 2002. You guys are coming up
Correct.
on 20 years of
Yes.
doing this work. And we are so appreciative for this because, like you said, there's no other museum of this kind that's dedicated to bringing the information and the resources, the history that you guys are bringing forth. What does that process looks like collecting these items? Because everything, did all of this come from the uncle's trunk, or
No, no,
was
no.
this
Just
other
that first
things?
shackle that I showed you came from his uncle's trunk. It set
Okay.
my husband on a quest that took uh, 60 years, quite frankly, to collect these items.
Wow.
Some he purchased, some he found because he started collecting these things in the early 60s. He hooked up with a
Wow.
band of Confederate collectors who were looking for items from the Civil War.
Hmm.
From the Civil War buffs, I should say. And these are some of the whips that were used to beat the slaves with. And they actually taught him how to look for things, metal things. His first iron detect metal detector was given to him by a white man who taught him how to hunt for things. And so some he purchased when eBay first started, some he purchased on eBay. It's very rare that you can find any real authentic shackles on eBay anymore. Most of
Yeah.
them are just reproductions. But yes, that's how he got started. And we've been told that we may have the most extensive collection of slavery artifacts, perhaps in the country. We are
I,
in
be-
a much smaller. Yeah, go ahead, David. Did you
I,
have a question
I,
about that?
I definitely believe it because
Yeah.
I'm a museum person. I love going to museums. And just from this virtual walk around, I haven't seen anything like this from even when these museums do their, they try to pay homage to the Black community and they have like an exhibit set up, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't even have this.
They don't. They don't. We have some of our collection that we loan to other museums. Some of our collection is located at the Constitution Center with the Lincoln exhibit. There are a pair of shackles there. Some are on loan to the Smithsonian African American Museum in Washington. We just loaned some shackles to a museum in Stockholm, Sweden.
Wow.
They have a museum of what do you call it, resistance there. So
Okay.
we have a good number of items here. This shows you our my husband's family's legacy, whose business was burned down during Wall Street. They had the only mortuary
Wow.
business, and there were many other businesses burned down during Wall Street.
Tulsa 1921.
That is correct. That is correct.
Wow, that is so amazing that you guys have so much history
Yeah.
literally at your fingertips. What does that feel like when you to know that you are literally, um, as I would say, the curator of our past, the curator of our history? What does that feel like?
Well, we take it seriously. And when people come to our museum, we don't sugarcoat. These are Jim Crow items, as you can see here. We don't sugarcoat our presentation. We make you understand that slavery was brutal,
Yeah.
absolutely horrendous. It's amazing that any of us survived any of this, but we did. And once you hear my presentation, you realize just how many people gave their lives, or their lives were taken, I should say, at the hands of others who simply just wanted our labor and nothing else. We also bring it right up to date with so many lynchings that happened during slavery, and how these people looked directly in the camera with no fear of any retribution. Many of them were law enforcement officers. In the same way, this man stood on George Floyd's neck for almost 10 minutes. It
Yeah.
started a movement that I still believe is going to come back come this summer.
Yeah.
We
Now,
had,
oh, go
mm-hmm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, one of my questions is, why do you think even in 2021. And you can turn the camera back to yourself now, because
Okay.
that's beautiful. I don't want to give people too much. I'm gonna make them, I want to encourage them to come down there themselves.
Absolutely.
But um, even in 2021, why do you think it's still so hard for people to talk about slavery?
I think because we have been uh, told that it's not something that we should talk about, sometimes from our own family members who lived during, if not slavery, during the Jim Crow period and experienced some harsh times. They don't want to, they feel that by telling their stories that they are passing their oppression on to us, when in fact they are keeping us from learning our history. So it's just something that's happened over the years, but we have to get away from that. Black people have no reason to be ashamed of slavery. America should be ashamed of slavery. We must talk about it and not just wait until February to talk about it, because Black history is American history 365 days a year.
Yes, I love that. So, what are some of the reactions you guys have seen? I mean, you guys been at this for all 20 years, maybe more than 20 years, to be honest, because of the
Yeah,
collection. What has been the
correct.
reaction from people, family members, friends, coming into the museum, or just,
In
customers
general,
in
yeah,
general?
we run the gamut from people who come in thinking that they're not going to really learn anything that they didn't already learn, to people who start weeping the minute they walk in the door and start seeing some of these artifacts. So it runs the gamut.
Wow. Wow. So, what is your hope for this museum moving forward in light of everything that's happened in 2020? Even now, still some of the racial tension that we're dealing with. Just on Monday, I'm an educator as well.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened in the Zoom amongst some students, and it wasn't the students; it was a infiltrator
Mm,
that infiltrated our Zoom. And I'm just sitting there thinking about, it's 2021, and
mm.
we still have to address this racism, this
Sure,
ignorance.
sure.
What is your hope for the museum?
We're hoping that people will open their eyes, their hearts, and their minds and recognize that we are all Americans, and you can't sink half a ship. All right. If the ship goes down, we're all going down. So we must come together and recognize that racism is affecting all of us, white, Black, Asian. It's affecting all of us. You're hearing about how Asians are being attacked in the streets now. So it's happening all over. We have got to, first of all, learn to talk about it. One of the things that we uh, like having the moniker of is that many people, when they come to the museum, they feel comfortable talking about race and race relations. And that's something we strive for, because without talking about it and explaining to each other how we feel about each other, quite frankly and honestly, we're just going to keep repeating the same thing. So, talking, learning, and understanding that we are all a part of the American experience and we need each other to keep America strong.
I love that. So, like I said, I'm not going to hold you long, because I know
Mhm.
you guys have so much that you have to do today. They're book people. They're
Yeah,
booked.
we're
So
booked.
definitely get down there. Could you share your information of how people
Sure.
can come in and
Yes.
get a tour?
You can book a tour right on our website. Our website address is www.lw, F is in forget, S is in slavery, M is in museum.com. I'm sorry. And then you click on the link that says book a tour, and you can book your tour right on our website. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and on Sunday, 12 to 4. Admission is $12 per person. Our address is 5501 Germantown Avenue, but our entrance is on Church Lane, which is the side street. If any of you are from the Philadelphia area and you know where Uncle Bobby's is, you'll see Uncle Bobby's Coffee House on the corner, and you'll see our sign on the left-hand side of the street. Admission is $12 per person. The guided tour takes you through, as I said, a review of slavery from capture to emancipation and beyond. And it's about an hour and a half. So you get a full exposure to what slavery was all about and how it continues to have an impact on society overall today.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you so
Ragsdale,
much, Mr.
for
Cheney.
taking time out to spend with New Our Life today. And y'all, please get down there and support. It's
Please
not
do.
only
We need your
about
support.
Yeah, it's not only about learning about where we're from and who we are, but this is a Black owned business and it's
Absolutely.
giving back in so many ways. So please, let's support as much as we can. So thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you so
Ragsdale.
much. Enjoy
Uh,
the rest of your day
enjoy the
and
rest of your
weekend.
day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.